recording in progress. Now we are live.
Ooh, okay, welcome to the Digital Strategy Talk. It's the video podcast from Get 'em All. Get 'em All is a network of experts. We do everything in the digital space like SEO, SEA, social media, web development, content creation, you name it. And when you need someone to help you with your digital success, you can call us. And today I'm very honored to have Kai Spriestersbach with me. Kai is our expert for artificial intelligence. And we will talk about how to implement artificial intelligence in companies. That means what opportunities do we have? What challenges do we have? And we will also have a little, I don't know how to say, a sideway in the field of SEO, because before he made a name of himself in the field of artificial intelligence in Germany, Kai was and is a well-known expert for search engine optimization for 2 decades now. And so we will talk about SEO and AI and the future of search. So those are the two topics we will talk about today. And I would say, Kai, I'm not sure, did I nail it or do you want to add something?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that's pretty much it. I've been doing SEO for, like you said, almost 20 years now, and switched over. Starting from this Google announcements implementing AI in search. So I was curious, what are they actually doing there? I want to understand how maybe search will change in the future. Yeah, and then I stumbled in the deep rabbit hole of artificial intelligence. Yeah, and now I'm more like an an AI consultant than an SEO consultant myself. So yeah.
Very cool. But we will see how close those two topics are, as you
Yeah.
already said. And I just read today a short snippet on LinkedIn. Most people don't know that Google is dominating the field of AI for over 10 years now. So this is something that a lot of people are now talking about ChatGPT and what is happening there. And everybody knows this and uses this. But very often we used AI, or we were confronted with AI without knowing it. So, and what I want to talk with you first is that you do, which I really love, which is quite cool, you do workshops and masterclasses in companies, and to help companies to implement AI and to make them more productive and to really profit from AI. So, can you describe first maybe your background in artificial intelligence and how you began offering those workshops for companies?
Yeah, of course. I need to step a bit back because I've always been interested in science fiction, and especially when it comes to time travel or artificial intelligence. I really love those kind of stuff. And to be honest, before ChatGPT, AI was more like something we know from movies, right? Something like in war games or Terminator or The Matrix or something like that. Or the more recent movies like Her or Ex Machina. That's and when ChatGPT was released, that was the first time when we actually had the feeling to talk to a real AI, and I think that quite I was trying to understand AI before that, but those real AI applications before the ChatGPT era, they weren't really widely available, and most of them were pretty boring, like data science and pattern recognition, and those weren't pretty exciting for me. But I got hooked a bit to machine learning when Google announced their RankBrain system back in 2015 now, and the BERT update that was revolutionizing the whole NLP space. Before, you had like models for every single task in NLP. So in maybe named entity recognition, there was one research area with different models that were only specialized in this kind of task. Another one was maybe a content generation and stuff like that. And everything got wiped away with BERT, with one model that could do almost every NLP application at the highest level of NLP benchmarks back then. And then OpenAI did something and just took the technology behind BERT and just made it 100 times bigger and trained it 100 times more with more data. And I really got very early API access for GPT-3 in 2020. And I was coming from a background with SEO, hearing about GPT-2, which was named by OpenAI as too dangerous to be released because it can generate text so well. Yeah, and I was like, okay, generate text. I think most SEOs have been playing around with like text generation and these text spinning and stuff like automation. Yeah, but this was a completely new level. So I was really dive into GPT-3 and testing all the commercial tools that came up back then. They are still up to date, like Phrase or Jasper, which started as they started as conversion AI, I think, then renamed to Jarvis, then got sued by by Disney, and then ended up being named Jasper. Yeah, and I worked a lot, but the pace of new model releases were so quickly that these tools are so quickly improved until ChatGPT was released, and then this was the first time that you actually could talk to those models. Before that, it was just a text completion API. You need to write the beginning of something that will be completed like a text you want to generate. That was really hard. So yeah, prompt engineering was really hard back then. But now it's like, oh, hi, ChatGPT, please do me like that. And thank you, it does. Yeah,
but that means that you had contact with ChatGPT. No, not ChatGPT, GPT
with
in
GPT-3.
2020. Okay, so but
Yeah.
your first time with ChatGPT was at the same time that most people saw it, or
Maybe a few months earlier.
yeah? Okay, so how was it for you? So I want to quote a little
Yeah,
Britpop now. How was it for you
completely
the
blew
first
my
time?
mind. Of course,
Okay, okay.
because it really felt like actually talking to a real person or a real artificial intelligence. I know there is a lot of anthropomorphism involved there. Humans tend to interpret more into actual technology. When the TV isn't working, you are clapping it to make it work, even if it doesn't have any good reason to do that. Yeah, but my first experiments in generating content was so surprisingly, so it was always better than I expected it to be. So time after time, with release after release and update after update, I got surprised, and I even get surprised today by new releases with now the new speech models, the new Gemini Live or ChatGPT voice mode, which is currently being released in the English for English users. It's like live talking to a person, even with voice and emotions in the voice. So I'm really fascinated about how fast it was evolving.
That's cool because you are also one of the persons who were like very critical in the beginning. I remember when I started using ChatGPT, I was like, I was also blown away. But on the other hand, I was shocked by the reception of ChatGPT by the people, because there are a lot of people. I mean, of course, they're not maybe from the SEO field, they're not from the nerdy field, and we are just from information science, and we have the background and working in this field for decades now. But there were people who were like, oh my God, it's a new search engine. So, and this was at the time when ChatGPT was not able to reach the internet. So it was just like it had all data it was trained on, and there was nothing comparable to a search engine. So I was like, oh my God, the better the answers are, because they are super nice. I always say it's a large language model, so he knows how to talk. So this is just it always sounds very nice. but when the people don't know what is the truth and what is not the truth, and where should I maybe dive in more into, where are the real facts? And now I come back a little bit back to my question, because I see you're an enthusiast for AI and the tools, and you want to talk about this, but I also want to talk about your workshops, because I think that this is maybe something you're confronted very early in companies with expectations that are maybe not realistic, not a very profound based knowledge about what is the model able to do and what is it not able to do. So my question is, how do you modify, or how do you, no, it's better, how do you bring the knowledge, the base knowledge, to people who really start at point zero, who just see AI and say, oh my God, it's awesome, I love it, it can do everything?
Excellent question. Yeah, that I think that's taking them to the same journey I was when I went through, because when I saw that ChatGPT was able to respond in very natural and human-like sounding way, I was curious, how does this actually work? And as you said, there are limitations, and basically it's just a very sophisticated next word prediction. It's not more than that technically. But it's that complex that it really can make sense. So in my workshops, I tend to say that everything ChatGPT is generating is a hallucinations, but some of them make sense for humans and some of them don't. But it's no different, because ChatGPT doesn't know shit. It doesn't know anything. It does not have a neurosymbolic AI which can be, I don't know, connected to some knowledge graph or some ground truth or something. It's just being trained on a lot of text and has learned that the answer to a certain question in some degree of certainty or uncertainty can be something that makes sense to humans. And that's the first thing I do in my workshops, is because the most important things is knowing and doing. So you need to understand the technology behind those AI tools today, because from that you can, very, very very much is then more explainable or understandable. If you know that it's just predicting words, then yeah, okay, you can understand why it sometimes hallucinates, or why it can't count, or it can't calculate well. So it wasn't made for that. But the second thing, after knowing the basics and the underlying building blocks of this technology, is playing around, getting hands-on experience. That's also a big part of the workshop. I come up with simple tasks that I that were built, like actually bring people to those limits, like try to let ChatGPT generate maybe colors with a certain number of characters, or vegetables with a certain number of characters, and it will quickly make errors. And then you have a reflection and what's going on there? And then I can intervene and say, hey, it works like that. And ChatGPT isn't actually inside of it using characters. It's using tokens, and what are tokens and stuff like that. Though I have this learning path, which actually has all those aha moments I got in my learning journey, crafted into this type of hands-on and lecture style workshops. And then after this basic level of AI competency, competences, I don't know, I show them a lot of examples. What I'm doing, what are existing workflows, what are existing AI solutions, to get a feeling about what can be actually done. Also, the problems with like we said, ChatGPT is not a search engine. How can we overcome those limitations with RAG? So ChatGPT or another large language model querying a traditional search engine, coming up with relevant documents, citing from those documents. They can also yeah. Still being hallucinations, because sometimes they tend to ignore something, or maybe a document is too large and cannot be processed at once and stuff like that. We have this limitations of this context window, and all these little technical details would be overwhelming and boring if I just tell them to you. So I try to find these step by step workflows that brings up those issues, and then explain why it is like that and how we can adapt or overcome this. And on the end, I hope this is the goal, that everyone has a grasp what can be done theoretically, so and then find its own opportunities in the own workflow, or in their own company, or in my own department. Yeah, which is something that is maybe too boring or too time consuming, and actually can be done. And then we can come up with prototypes or projects like, I don't know, let's try to do XYZ with AI. But that's a different topic that needs to be specifically addressed. But the first thing is really to get all known, to really not hear about the limitations, but to actually see it and feel it. That own experiences, these hand-on experiences. I think this is a really important step in this learning.
I love this answer. So that you had a lot of elements in this answer that were notable. So the first thing is I was remembered of our colleague Olaf Kopp, who always says, "I'm sorry, but I'm talking about the nerdy stuff and the patents of Google and everything, because you have to understand technology before you optimize for it." And I see it. I do courses for SEO. And in the beginning, I explain how crawling is working, how indexing is working, how a search engine is working, because you can't start with optimizing your website. You have to start with understanding the technology you're serving. And it's the same for AI. So I like this point very much. But speaking of understanding the technology, so I guess it's super important to see what is the status quo at the moment of AI, and where do you see it in 5 years? So maybe in more in the personal space, in a general space, and also for companies. So in the 3 areas, where do you see AI, or what do you see as the most important I don't know, changes that will come?
Yeah, I think in one part is completely commoditization. So every AI will be everywhere, in every product, in every software, in every system. We're starting to see it now. We're just recording this over Zoom, and now Zoom has AI translation, AI transcription, AI summaries, AI here, AI everywhere. So I think all these basic technologies like text to speech, speech to text, summarization, everything that is really just working right now. It's already working today. That will be completely normal. It will be something like a calculator in school. I think AI will be an integral part of every, like, computer work or even knowledge work. In labor or in manual work, there's completely different. I think very interesting right now is the rise of robotics. So all these AI technologies are currently changing robotics as well. There are already, I think yesterday was announced a humanoid robotic for $16,000 that you can buy, and it's doing your household dishes. I want to get some as quickly as possible. But the underlying technology is the same unsupervised learning approach that brought large language models to that new state. It's a new state that can't be reached before, and now it's like, just show the machines how a human works, and it can learn and adopt that to control that humanoid robotic body to actually do the same. And that's really, really interesting. And I think the pace of development is so quick. I'm working like for 14 months, I think now. I'm working for my AI masterclass, and I already switched 4 times the underlying framework to build my processes on, because I wanted to build my processes and then show everyone else how I was doing it. And then every week something new appeared and I get rid of all the old stuff from GPT-3 in the beginnings, now with GPT-4o, and now more and more I'm talking to GPT and not typing and stuff like that. And now we have Search GPT, which is actually that's pretty interesting. It's actually a really good search engine. I was granted access 2 days ago to Search GPT, and it's surprisingly well done. It's really quick. So I cannot really say what's there in maybe 2 or 5 years, but I think it will probably not be AGI. So that's my educated guess would be here. We don't see artificial super intelligence or maybe the rise of the machines in the next 5 years, but we will get very, very well working, maybe more something that also is very important is efficiency. A lot of the models nowadays are really more like wasteful in terms of compute power or resources. CO2 carbon footprints of AI is not really good. Microsoft and Google stated that they won't reach their CO2 goals, their carbon emission goals, because of AI. So I think smaller, more efficient models is really, really important for the next years. We will see a lot of on-device AI, also very good for privacy, maybe. Yeah, and I think for companies, it's really understanding the technology in a way that you can manage the risks that it comes with, and there are definitely risks aside from this energy consumption. It's very much about biases and handling not how you can say not intended outcomes of AI, because if you do like process automation and you don't have a human in the loop anymore, at some point there will be something going wrong, and you need to manage those risks. And before to do that, you need to understand the technology. It's the same thing again, to work to use it as in a very safe way, in a responsible way. I think understanding is the best way to do it.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I guess we will talk about Search GPT later, because this is very close, of course, to the future of SEO and the future of search. But before, I wanted to ask you, because you were now talking a lot about what can I do with AI, but maybe also what are the misconceptions about AI. So can you tell me, maybe as experience from your workshops, what are the most common misconceptions when it comes to AI? And maybe you have 1 or 2, like a success story where you say, okay, we were able to implement something to make a process doable, and the people were happy with it, and now they're more efficient. So something like this.
Yeah, sure. So there are a lot of misconceptions. So there are those minor details like how GPT works and why it can't search the internet and stuff like that. But overall, it's more like, on the one hand, people are completely overestimating its capabilities. Sadly, this happens to people in more likely in the C level and the management of the companies. Which often don't experiment themselves with AI. So they have only heard about the stuff, but don't use it. And then think, oh yeah, we can take AI to save a lot of money. or to replace all the workers. I don't know.
Yeah, you have this quote by Sam Altman, I guess, who said you only need AI in one person, and when he's agile enough, he can build a whole
Yeah, but
company. So maybe the C-level thinks, okay, so I'm one person. And then
I know this quote, but it's different. It's he said we are living now in times where one person with AI is able to build a billion-dollar company. That's
yeah, the
completely
details.
different.
Yeah.
It's not like you take a company with 500 people and then replace those people with AI. That's not the same thing. And to be honest,
Thanks for clarification.
I'm currently working on a company myself that is just me and the AI. I'm trying out how far can I go to build something that maybe 5 years ago I would needed like 20 writers, for example, or a bunch of, I don't know, people that maybe talk to companies or get hands-on experience with something. And AI can do a lot. That's right. But yeah, overestimation is one problem. But on the other hand, there are also, that's more like the hands-on people that have actually worked with ChatGPT, experimented with ChatGPT, and if you do it on a very naive way, so you don't really look into prompting and what could be working like, so you come to a certain limit, and then you say, "Oh, ChatGPT is dumb because it can't do la la la." It can't count, so it's completely useless. And so, and the reality and the truth is behind those extremes. It's not the dumbest thing ever. Okay, it can not do
This
something you might expect it to do. But on the other hand, it can do a lot of stuff you would be really surprised,
I
maybe.
have to jump in because this is so funny because my kid now he's 8 years old and
Mhm.
he started to talk to Alexa. So he's playing games with her and I don't know stuff like this. But very often I hear him when I'm in the kitchen and he's in the living room and he's talking to Alexa and then he says, "Oh Alexa, you don't know anything. You're dumb." He really says that. And then I
Yeah.
come in and I jump in and I say, "Okay, Hannes, you have to talk to Alexa in a certain way. She can't know more than everyone knows. She can only know what the knowledge base is," because he was asking them questions like, I don't know, who's the fastest football player on earth
Mhm.
in the last, I don't know. No, maybe this someone knows, but he was, oh, no. He asked how much sand is on earth. So, and I was like, okay,
Ah.
Hannes, no one can know how much sand is on Earth. And I was reminded of a Preacher comic I read 20 years ago. And there is one guy who says you have to count every piece of sand for the rest of your life as a penalty. So this was so funny. Yeah, but that's the reaction. If you don't know how the technology works, then you're like, on the one hand, oh my God, it's awesome, it can everything. And on the other hand, oh my God, it's so dumb, it doesn't know anything. So
Yeah,
very
but
nice.
it was the same thing for every technology, I think. I still remember 20 years ago, I told my mom how to search on Google to find the things she wanted to find. And I needed to explain her that you need to enter the terms, the words in the search engine that should appear on the target website you are looking for. So back then, it was the best way to find relevant info. So that's the same thing. If you are completely unexperienced and you have a new system like Google in the beginning was basically just a full text search. It did not have this all fancy, I don't know, semantic capabilities, query rewriting, and all the stuff is going on right now. It was like if you want a web page that has these three words on it, you can look up these three words, but not more. And the same thing is now true. I often see, and that's the interesting part on the second half of these workshops. I give all participants the opportunity to try out own workflows. They say, "Oh, maybe I don't know, I'm into internal communication and I want to get a newsletter up or maybe an announcement of something of our new Summerfest," and they are starting to write their own prompts for these type of solutions, and then every time someone reaches this, that doesn't work, it can be either, okay, ChatGPT can't do that, or you just, not did wrong, but not used maybe the best way or the best prompting. And then I always go to these people, as everyone pauses this work, and we go for the presenter, that everyone can see what's the issue. And then I ask the audience, what do you think? Is it the way the prompt was written, or is it not capable of doing that? And that's so interesting, and that's also this learning curve. And I then advise them, what are the best practices in prompting? Try a few shot prompting. Have you tried role prompting, giving it a role, giving it examples, giving it maybe time to think, these chain of thought or think ahead technologies, that you say, think about first, how would you solve this, and then solve it, and stuff like that. And that's really interesting, because then you see that something that can't be done in ChatGPT. Of course, it's not capable of anything, but with the right techniques, it can do a lot of things. Yeah,
very cool. Maybe we can show in the show notes later that you. I saw a post of you at LinkedIn, I guess, and it was about some schema of successful prompts. So how to model your prompt to get what you want. So I guess you shared a link or something, or like a framework how prompting can be the most successful. Do you remember, or do I?
Yeah, I can share an updated version of this, because I did the at OMR the AI basic course, and we did a cheat sheet for that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I could give you the content from the cheat sheet, so we can add it to the show notes. And
very cool.
there is pretty much everything you need to know about prompting, these frameworks, and even when using something like few shot prompting, where you are showing examples to the model, that the model should then understand the structure behind the task. It's really hard to come up with good examples because you don't want to have the examples having some kind of unintended pattern. Sorry, I was looking for the word pattern. So if you give the wrong examples, there can be a pattern inside that the model is then reproducing and not solving actually what you wanted it to do. And that is like a list of all the best practices in prompting.
Super interesting. Yeah. The funny thing is, though, the topic is very interesting. You are very enthusiastic about the topic. So I wrote down before we met, I gave you like 10 questions I would like to ask you. And I guess I made out of 2 of the 10 I prepared, because it's just so interesting and it has so many aspects. But what I liked to mention is one thing. I forgot to say before, is you were talking about sustainability, the challenges for our planet when it comes to AI. I want to mention here that we have in Get 'em All an expert for sustainability when it comes to web design, and it's Gero Wenderholm, and I hope I can have him in this video podcast. And now when he hears this, I think he will come. So I will have an interview with him too. So this is one challenge for the future, but what do you see as maybe the biggest challenge in AI for the future? So maybe when it comes to our society, so let's talk about maybe a little bit about AI ethics. So where do you see problems for the future?
Yeah, it basically comes again to the part of education, because if you don't know that there's a good saying, all models are false, but some are useful. And that's pretty much nails it, because every model that is trained on any data is pretty much biased and misrepresents some parts of. Yeah, if you just look into the examples, Amazon was the first company that said, hey, we want to build an AI-based recruiting process that people can upload their resumes to, and the AI says, "Oh yeah, you look like an actual good candidate for maybe this or that role." And they trained it on their existing data. Of course, they had maybe 15 years of HR, a lot of resumes, a lot of human like evaluations. I was looking for evaluations. Yeah, if you have a lot of revenues with good evaluation, you can train a model to learn from that. But it showed that for programmers or a programming role, it only accepted male resumes and no female, regardless how qualified or superior those were, because just in the historical data showed that female resumes weren't selected for
Yeah.
maybe the next round.
Yeah.
And
And the funny thing is that the history repeating part here, the funny thing is that you didn't have to write your female or male. So it was like the FAIR system does not take into account if you're male or female. But if you wrote in your hobby section that you're doing ballet instead of baseball, so then the
exactly.
AI was like, okay, you're out.
Yeah, and that is a really good example why it isn't not easy to do that. Because even if you are a data scientist or a machine learning engineer and you are aware of all these issues that can happen, and you try to train an unbiased, it's really hard, because there are these research papers that show that I think five fields from your Facebook account was enough to determine if you are gay or heterosexual, and it was anonymized, and no gender was given and stuff like that. But there are always data points. You could also de-anonymize data if you have enough information about a certain person, even maybe the personalized information is taken away. There is no name, but there is enough clue for a machine to revise this process of anonymization. That's also a real danger. So
Yeah. I just read that the government of Argentina is at the moment thinking about like something like let's make minority reports reality. So like predicting crimes based on data. And I was like, oh my God, what could possibly go wrong? It's not that Hollywood always says what goes wrong.
yeah, I
Years
can tell you
before.
that
Oh my God.
the British police is doing that for almost 3 years now. So they have these type of
Whoa.
Don't get me starting on on that. But what I was just saying, it even if you are aware and you try to do the best, then even then every model will be having some part of bias, and it could be. Yeah, I think that's why we should be glad that we have now an EU AI Act, because it has this risk-based approach, and it says, hey, when you want to use an AI in a process which is deciding for the future career of a person, then you are simply not allowed to use AI there. So, hey, HR departments out there, you are not allowed to use AI to monitor or to to review the CVs of your. Yeah, I know a lot of people are doing it right now, but it's not simply not legal,
Yeah,
and for
I
good
have to
reason.
say, so vice versa, of course. And then we see the light and the dark. So the light is when you yourself write an application. So I do this so every month. So I write an application on LinkedIn to see what is out there and what are the possibilities.
Mhm.
And now there is a job platform, but I forgot the name. And this platform is you apply for a job, and then you get an email, and the email says, okay, let's make a nice AI cover letter, or maybe modify your cover letter that it fits better to the position. And then it matches just your CV and the position, and then you get a nice cover letter. And I have to say, those are amazing. I mean, I admit I'm not really looking for a job, and I'm too lazy to write cover letters. I've always been, but this is something that AI is really doing awesome. But yeah, we've seen the negative examples, and maybe short commercial break. If you have a company or organizing conferences and you're interested in talking about biases in AI, you can hire Kai or you can hire me in German or English, and we can talk about the biases in AI, because this is a topic, and ethical AI that will not go away. So this will become more and more important. It already is, and we could talk about this for hours. So let's switch to a topic we can also talk about for hours. It's search, SEO, and the future of search and SEO and AI. And you already mentioned Search GPT, and I've seen that you have access. I'm still on the waiting list. So how is it?
Oh, I was pretty surprised because it's actually pretty quick. So the first thing I was thinking about it, how fast can it be? Because involving large language models normally takes some time, and then when it's querying some type of search engine and getting back the results, it needs to summarize those, and that's why Google was not implementing it today or until now in a broad way, because it's very time consuming. Yeah, but I could show you maybe later after our talk. We could do a little screen sharing and I show you Search GPT in live. And very interesting is the way it selects the document it cites from those who are retrieved from the search engine. So it's basically the same thing like if you look now at Google AI overviews. A lot of companies in the US did analysis on there that sometimes Google cites a site that is maybe not even in the top 100 for the organic results. So, yeah, this is for a reason, because if you look at the traditional search approach, how TF-IDF and stuff like that, so it brings up documents where the terms in the keyword query are on this page. But now with these new types of AI search, I would say this is the first time we have actually a real semantic search. It's more like what is the real intent behind this query? What do you really want to know? And the first approach to if you look at embeddings and yeah, now we're getting really nerdy and in depth, but the idea basically was that you can calculate the similarity between the input query and the document. So more like a similarity calculation. That was the naive approach to semantic search, because in a semantic search, the document that will be retrieved, even if it's not containing any of the words, but it has the same meaning. Because, yeah, sometimes keywords can be ambiguous. It can have different meanings. A bug can be a beetle or a car and stuff like that. We all know this. And I think these new technologies like these word embeddings can solve a lot there. But that was something. Yeah, I'm now. Ich schweife ab, as you say in German. Yeah, basically, it's really interesting because those documents that will be brought up by a classic search engine like Bing or Google aren't necessarily those documents that contains the answer to a certain question, because the calculation is different.
Okay. So, but what do I get basically? So, I mean, I'm quite sure I haven't seen a Search GPT already, so I'm quite sure it's not taking the bold move and becoming an answer machine, and you ask something and you get one answer. This is not what is happening.
Exactly,
I'm
it.
quite sure.
Exactly,
This is what is
that's
happening.
it.
Holy shit.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's basically it's an answering machine, but with some type of reasoning and citation. So it makes not just an educated guess or makes up an answer, so it's grounding its answer on actually documents. And
Okay.
to be honest, it's pretty damn good.
I wanted to ask, can you trust it? I mean, I mean, we are so used to get 100,000 results or more, and we are so used to just we ignore the 100,000, but we check the first 6, 7, 8, I don't know, and we make our own decisions. So we're used to this, and can we now get one answer and we trust the technology? Is it possible?
For maybe, I don't know. I won't come up with a number, but maybe I think we need to explore and to analyze this more, because I haven't tried those topics that are really like, yeah, I've tried some queries regarding health issues and yeah, if I'm feeling sick, what should I do and stuff like that. And I did not brought it to a point where it makes up any unlogical or dangerous answers. Like, yeah, but it's if you maybe scale it now to 100 million users and everyone is using it on everyday basis, there will be those issues, of course.
Of course. I know it's hard for you because you're very data driven and nerdy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't want to have the perfect answer. I just wanted to know, how is your feeling? So your feeling was it was satisfying search
My,
results
my
in
feeling
most
what is
cases?
it was surprisingly well selecting the sources. So it came up with when I asked it about mental or health issues, it really cited only highly trusted sources, like it was in English, of course. It's currently only available in English. It was like governmental health organizations from the US citing, or these really big and trustful sources. So it's not like the Google approach, just take Reddit content.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. Yeah, that from a list. So most of all, I don't know if you know this. That's my type of experience when I'm looking for an answer for something. Often I find in the top 10 of Google currently these 7 to 8 pages which are actually doing great, just great SEO. They're doing perfect SEO. They are really well optimized, but often it's not the best answer for me as a user. And in my few examples I tried so far on SearchGPT, it really come up with sites that really had good information on the site and was not good optimized for. I think that's due because we have now this 20 years of SEO going on for optimizing for Google for this. It's an imperfect search, of course, and we can all use that imperfectionness to maybe yeah, not like it's not really exploiting it. So in the early days, we all SEOs were exploiting the flaws of Google. That's it. You get a PageRank 8 link from somewhere, and you're ranking pretty well. Okay, but Google did a pretty amazing job over the last 20 years. But it's this type of information gain is different, because the traditional search returns the most, yeah, the most relevant documents from trusted sources, but not the documents that necessarily contains the answer to my question. And I think that is something that SearchGPT does better now. It's even true for Perplexity. I think you might have tried already Perplexity AI. It's very similar to what SearchGPT is doing, but SearchGPT is a lot quicker, and I think it's also have a better search engine behind it, because as far as I know, Perplexity is basically just scraping Google and then looking into the common crawl data to cite the pages. And there's a lot of content missing. I don't know how this would be evolving with that's a totally new topic about how webmasters will be allowing AI companies or search engines to cite from their pages and stuff like that. That's a totally different topic. But if I now get back to, I just have finished my first course for the future of SEO, how to optimize for those new AI search engines and everything. So my best advice is just try to find the answers people are, try to find the questions people are stating or asking, and then build a website that answer those questions. Because for a semantic answer machine, that is the optimal document, is the document that gives an answer to the user's questions. It's that simple.
But we are already doing this in
No,
SEO.
I would say that some SEOs do that, yes.
Okay.
Those who are doing their job good and maybe looking for a more sustainable SEO. But a lot of times I've just seen those who just look what are the top 10 are writing, and I do a mixture or a write-up or some type of, I don't know, like plagiarism or just bullshit text, even just some boilerplate content to stuff my keywords in. It's still true for a lot of sites, I would say.
Yeah, I guess maybe, I don't know, I have another search experience because maybe because a lot of the people who come to my courses, I do them at the 121 Watt, and a lot of them are working in small and mid-sized businesses. So, and they are like when you take into account the Ahrefs study that like, I don't know, 96% of all websites don't get any organic traffic from Google.
Yeah.
So they are very often based in those sectors. So I'm not confronted that often with super optimized websites. So I search very often for phrases or stuff that are not so interesting for SEO, or it's not so because it doesn't bring the money in. I don't know. And I see also in the first 10 results, not very well optimized pages. It's just like you say in German. When everybody is blind, the one-eyed is king. So, and this is like this is what I see very often in SEO. So I don't share your feeling 100%, because when you were talking about Search GPT and you were talking about citing authorities, I was thinking, is this a good thing, or is it a step back? Because what Google does for years now, and I like it, or is I mean, we have to go back in history, and Google started to, I love to say Google started to make search social, because they said links are relevant, recommendations are relevant, how the network, the online network is built up. So are there real recommendations for websites? So we know how we all exploited the backlink stuff, but this was one thing where Google said, I get away from you write the right content and that's it. I look at what other people say about you and your content. And then there was the dominance of Wikipedia. We have all seen it. So this is the content we all trust, because there are a lot of human editors. We are back to the human in the loop. There are the human editors who really revise the content and say, okay, this is cool content or this is bad content. Every SEO who tries to get into Wikipedia knows that there can be quite strict, those editors. So, and now Google made the step in the direction to Reddit, which also, I mean, has a lot of BS as answers, but it also has this recommendation system and the scoring system. And so Google said, okay, I take into account the human factor. I don't know, I don't only cite the Mayo Clinic, I take into account the humans. Now there's Search GPT and they say, oh, we do the safe thing. We give an answer. And when we give an answer, we give the authority answer. Isn't this a limitation?
I wouldn't generalize in Search GPT doing that. It was just my observation that in those queries that I did on health topics, it relied, or it seemed to rely on more authoritative sites. There are different examples where even small blogs were cited. So it's not like, yeah, we all know Google did this back then. I don't know which was it, the Florida update or which, when suddenly was it not Epson or some printing company appeared from out of nowhere because they didn't do actually any SEO, and they appeared from out of nowhere in the top 3 for the keyword printer because Google said, hey, the brand factors are now so
Yeah, it's the same
overly
for
overweighted.
Pampers, who had like the Flash website. If anybody remembers Flash, and it
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
completely not readable for anybody. But it
I
was
was
like,
a Flash
woohoo!
developer once back
Oh my
in the
God,
old
action
days.
scripting. Yeah. So and they were then number 1 and number 2 for Pampers and for
Yeah,
Windeln in German, because in
yeah,
Germany we used the brand name as a synonym for diapers. So,
yeah.
and this is like, whoa, it was an awesome ranking. But before they were not visible because Google was not able to read the site.
Yeah, but that's always you maybe know better than anyone else because you are from the background of information science. That it is always a trade-off. If you tend towards more like authoritative sites, you get the more safer answers, but you also lose those personal, individual experiences, maybe those experts. And I really like the approach to. I think that's maybe something that needs to evolve to a certain state where Google has all the data to say, hey, when you are looking for, I don't know, the best ways to bring up some type of server, then maybe the one nerdy little blogger with this his tutorial has the best answer. And when you're looking for maybe safe information about prescriptive drugs or something, maybe some health.gov site would be a best answer. But you can't generalize. It's the one can be good in one case and bad on the other, as vice versa. So I think this is this thing which for me makes it so interesting, and from also the yeah, where search and AI is coming together, because the same thing is for precision and recall. Yeah, it's always these waiting between a good precision and a good recall. And if you are optimizing more towards the one, you lose on the other. And that's a hard. Actually, search is a really hard problem, even with AI.
Whoa. Yeah, very cool. So, but Kai, I have to say, I really love talking to you, but now we have to come to an end. For the people who were watching this podcast, please, if you have any questions concerning AI, you can contact Kai. I will do all the contact possibilities in the show notes. I have 2 more questions. They are quite personal, but I have 2 more questions. The first question is, do I have to sell all my Google stocks now?
I was I recently wrote a LinkedIn post about exactly that. Maybe you ask me for that. Um, I first had thought yes, but not because maybe search is losing traction. I think search is just starting. I really can imagine that when all these new type of search engines, and including Google and the new Gemini assistant that will be. Oh, have you seen the Pixel 9 demo with Gemini Live?
Yeah, amazing.
It will be, yeah, exactly. It's amazing. So I think if we learn that you can ask anything to this type of search engine, you get a real good answer. I think the overall search volume could be tenfolded from now, maybe in the next 2 years. So I don't think that even if Google theoretically will lose some market share or something like that to maybe Search GPT or any other competitor, I think overall search is a yeah, a growing scheme or application. Um, the reason I would maybe thinking about selling my stocks was just because the user experience using the Google Cloud was so bad. I stumbled upon Google Vertex AI search, which is basically Google search that you can use for your own website. and it's so complicated, it's so expensive, and I was like, nobody will use that.
Yeah, but I
I
mean,
was
this is like
semi-stuck.
this is also history repeating because it's UX at Google. So every Google product is like the Google people, and I like them. They make a great job in search, but they sit in their ivory tower and
Yeah,
think that they can do whatever nerdy and geeky stuff, and the people are using it, and everybody is sitting there like, what the hell? What do I have to do here? And why is it working like this? And why do I have the data here? And why is it renamed? And now, and I don't know. So this is.
exactly.
Yeah, I
But
have to admit,
don't underestimate Google. That's
yeah,
the big
yeah,
thing,
that's
because
what I wanted to say. The
im-
question was a little bit a fun question, so I
imagine
would not
a
sell
year
myself.
ago, everyone's was saying, hey, Google is dead in a year because now there's ChatGPT and Google is having no LLM at all. And now, to be honest, Gemini 1.5 is one of the best models. Gemini Flash is so quick and so cheap and so good, and they, yeah, sometimes it's Google is now so big. It's not like a startup that can move quickly. It's now a really big operation, and a lot of Googlers, I think they yeah, that's another different topic. How maybe if you are doing so well, you get maybe a bit lazy as well. That could be in some parts. But if you look what they are actually doing now, and the integration of Gemini as an assistant in all their products, and I think they're, yeah, Google will be doing very fine in the next
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, I guess one thing that people very often don't see is just like that when ChatGPT went live, went public, it was possible for them to make huge mistakes or to give really
Exactly.
very bad hallucinations. And Google, as market leader in search and also known for AI, would never be able to afford this kind of crap ChatGPT gave out as an answer, especially in the beginning. So this is maybe one thing that we just recognized the speed of OpenAI, but we did not recognize that Google is already there and big and huge and everywhere, and can't afford to make stupid mistakes just in the beginning.
Yeah, it's kind of the innovator's dilemma is kind of exactly that, because you have to lose more than a newly started founded startup that can move quickly, try out things, like Mark Zuckerberg said, move fast and break things. It's
Yeah,
not so hard when you break something that is not generating billion of dollars. So I understand why Googlers tend to be more like cautious about those. And hey, they do it for a reason. These large language models and all that generative AI, it is based on probabilities and based on statistics, and there's always been an error rate involved, and you can minimize this error rate. But when you have an error rate of even 0.001% and you go with billions of searches today, that can be really harmful. So yeah, I really support that, and I'm really interesting in the first PR media stories how bad Search GPT did, and they will come. It will come.
of course, of course. Okay, cool. So my second question is when I see like a small, I don't know, a personal setup or freelancer setup, I'm not talking now in the company sense, but me as a person, for example, I have at the moment I'm working with ChatGPT and I'm working with Midjourney when it comes to content creation. So is this a good setup? I pay like 30 euros per month, or I've seen a LinkedIn post by you. That's why I'm asking that there is maybe a free alternative for image creation you could recommend, or would you say ChatGPT or Midjourney is a good setup?
So if you would go for one chatbot and one image model, that would be also my choice right now.
Okay.
I start using more and more Claude for, because it writes a bit nicer. It has more like a journalistic writing style if you prompt it correctly. So I really love working with Claude in the meantime. But ChatGPT, to be honest, with all this possibilities with the built-in data analyzer, and you can come up with your own custom GPTs and stuff like that. That's such a good production tool. I love it. I just love it. And Midjourney is still the best image generating model. Yes. They start to even have a web-based version right now. I got access 2 days ago. You don't need Discord anymore. Yay!
I mean, when it's working, so you don't have to touch it anymore. But yeah,
never change the running system. But Midjourney has some flaws when it comes to generating images with text in it. So I started using ideogram a bit of more than a year ago, when it comes to generating logos or graphic images with some text in it. So ideogram is better than Midjourney on this type of images. And they yesterday they launched ideogram 2.0, and it's even superior. So that's really good. What you have mentioned, the free version or the free alternative, it's Flux. So a German lab, I think it's called Black Forest Labs. They come up with an open source version, but it's only true for the base model. So the smallest, weakest model is completely free, also for commercial use. The mid-tier model is free, but only for academic use. And the top model that is comparable to Midjourney needs to be licensed, but you can use it on some APIs with some free tiers, maybe something like 10 generations per day for free or something like that. Yeah, but it is an alternative. But if you are already on Midjourney, there's no reason to switch right now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hi, I thank you so much. This was a super interesting and awesome talk. I want to give you the last 30 minutes, or how much you need, 30 minutes or 30 seconds.
Okay.
Go for it. No, I want to give you some time to just maybe you have some last words, and then I would say thank everybody who saw this for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you, Kai.
Yeah, thank you very much, Astrid. It was really interesting talking to you. We need to, I think, to go on with discussing about the pros and cons about search. Maybe,
oh my God, yeah.
Maybe looking into Search GPT results. That's really interesting. But yeah, what I just wanted to say is for everyone out there listening or maybe watching, stay curious and try to understand. I know it's sometimes it's really complicated, and when there's some math involved and some statistics and some graphs and stuff like that, but you can always break it down to a very understandable level to at least understand the basic concepts of all those technologies, because only when you understand how something works, you are really able to use the technology in a safe and in a responsible and in maybe optimal way. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know this saying, if you got a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. That's also true for AI, and AI is for some tasks is extremely a good thing to do, but not for everything. Yeah.
Very cool. This is the best to say about it. Thank you very much. And as I said, stay tuned for the next episode. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.